आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव। Azadi ka Safar with AIR News, Birth of a Nation.
India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
It was on 18th January that Rabindranath Tagore visited Sabarmati Ashram in 1930. Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore were two extremely different personalities, politically and ideologically. However, they had a great sense of mutual respect and fellowship for each other. Gandhiji was bestowed with the title of Mahatma by Rabindranath Tagore in 1915. The sense of respect that Gurudev and Mahatma shared for each other is well reflected in the words of Rabindranath Tagore.
He stopped at the thresholds of the huts of the thousands of the dispossessed, dressed like one of their own. He spoke to them in their own language. Here was living truth at last, and not quotations from books. For this reason, Mahatma, the name given to him by the people of India, is his real name. Who else has felt like him, that all Indians are his flesh and blood? In direct contact with truth, the crushed forces of the soul rise again. When love came to the door of India, that door was opened wide. At Gandhi's call, India blossomed forth to new greatness, just as once before, in earlier times, when Buddha proclaimed the truth of fellow feeling and compassion among all living creatures.
Today, we also remember Miraben, a British-born follower of Mahatma Gandhi who participated in the movement for India's independence. Born in England, Miraben's original name was Madeline Slade. Fascinated by the principles of non-violence of Gandhiji, she took India as her home and lived here for almost 34 years before returning to England.
Miraben arrived in Ahmedabad on the 7th of November 1925, where she was received by Mahadev Desai, Vallabhbhai Patel and Swami Anand. Gandhiji consented to Miraben's wish to stay at Sabarmati Ashram, and it was upon her arrival at the ashram that Gandhiji gave her the nickname Miraben.
During her initial years in India, Miraben learned Hindi and travelled to villages to understand the idea of India. She became one of the close confidants of Gandhiji. In 1931, Miraben accompanied Gandhiji to London for the second Round Table Conference.
Miraben was active in spreading the spirit of non-violence. She was arrested multiple times, including during the civil disobedience, when she was detained on the charge of supplying information to Europe and America regarding conditions prevailing in India. She was again arrested during the Quit India movement, when she was imprisoned in the Aga Khan Palace in Pune, along with Gandhiji and his wife Kasturba.
Following Gandhi's assassination in 1948, Miraben decided to stay in India.
For the next 11 years, she travelled to various Indian states, took on community projects and worked on environmental issues. On 18th January 1959, Miraben returned to England, and a year later moved to a house near Vienna, where she spent the remaining years of her life. In 1981, the Indian government conferred on her the Padma Vibhushan. We salute the noble soul.
We also remember 11 freedom fighters from Delhi who were martyred on 18th January 1858 for participating in the defense of Delhi during the First War of Indian Independence in 1857.
These were Asghar Yar Khan and Sheikh Yar Khan, residents of village Khidki, Sayyid Ataullah Khan, resident of Phatak Habash Khan, Sheikh Ghulam Shah, Gulab Akbar Pathan and Sayyid Mir Ghulam, residents of Kurcha Chelan, Sheikh Ilahi Bakhsh, Sheikh Kalamgir Bakhsh, Sayyid Khuda Bakhsh, resident of Lahori Gate, Mir Shah Sayyid and Sayyid Seetal Shah. We salute the great martyrs.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.